I don't consider. Well, no, do I consider woke an insult? If someone called me woke, I'd just laugh at them. I think I'm probably the opposite of it. But is it an insult? Why do people think it's an insult?
So we've seen changing views on the term being woke, and I suppose we have to be clear that we're talking about the term being woke.
Yeah.
Maybe not, and there'll be obviously different understandings of what woke actually means on different sides.
Well, isn't that one of the big issues, that most people don't even know what it means?
Yeah, that's very true. But what we have found is that this is a study that we've carried out with King's College London, and the first time we did it, it was at the end of 2020, and we've repeated it. And what we found is that awareness amongst the public on some of those key terms, like being woke and cancel culture, has actually increased quite a lot just over that period, particularly maybe amongst groups where awareness was lower originally, like older people, for example. So you're absolutely right. There's still a lot of people who don't know much about it, and kind of exactly what it means is kind of debated. But nevertheless, there's been a big media focus and a big political focus on culture wars over the last year or so, and to some extent that is being picked up by the public.
Well, again, it's certainly all over social media. If you're on Twitter, you can't escape it. But it's certainly made it into a lot of the newspapers and mainstream broadcasting as well, I think. And this is the phrase like cancel culture, what that means. But when I think about woke, the idea was that you were awakened to issues like systemic racism or sexism and things like that. Whereas I suppose I would use it, they're so woke, the wokies, the woke brigade. And I think about that as people who virtue signal, who like to say the perceived to be correct views, and I don't think often they even believe in them, and they're certainly not internally consistent, a lot of their views, where they will spout a lot of stuff which they don't necessarily mean, but it means that they're a good person. So supporting Black Lives Matter, supporting Extinction Rebellion, talking about the climate change, a lot of things that people, trans rights and things, a lot of people will give views which they perceive to be the correct, highly praised and good people's views. That, I suppose, that's what I think of by woke. Is that what most people think of?
So again, we have to remember that many people don't have a strong idea of it, but we did ask people to define woke, as I said, and the ones who were able to give an answer, there was a bit of a spread. So the top answer was what you're talking about. So it was a kind of a being awareness of issues around injustice, inequality, racial inequality, and so on. So that was the top issue that people associated with being woke. But there were other aspects. So people did mention others being too sensitive to words. They mentioned things like virtue signaling or kind of political correctness gone mad, that sort of comment. So that was definitely coming through as well. So there were different angles coming through it. There was a sense of, it does apply to being aware of issues around inequality and so on, but that more negative sense we could see as well, which reflects the kind of some of the growing concerns amongst really only amongst certain groups who are beginning to see woke as more of in a more pejorative way.
Well, I think we're going to be talking about an awful lot of these words a lot more in the next couple of years. I think they're going to be big battlegrounds the next election. Gideon Skinner from Ipsos, thank you very much.